Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to Crenshaw Gymnasium here in Ashland, Virginia. Tonight, the Washington and Lee men's basketball team opens up Old Dominion Athletic Conference play with a matchup against the number 17 team in Division III, the Yellow Jackets of Randolph-Macon. Jeremy Franklin with you tonight. The Generals coming in at 4-1. They had a nice 94-78 victory over a previously unbeaten Mary Washington team in their home opener on Monday. Now a big test. The 7-0 Yellow Jackets, who just routed a top 20 team, Emory, on the road in Atlanta on Sunday. Just about set for tip-off. We'll take a quick break, come back with starting lineups in first half action. Generals basketball coming to you tonight on WLUR and WLUR All Access, powered by First Team Broadcasting.
180 over 111, and I had a stroke.
145 over 92, and then I had a heart attack.
150 over 90, and I had a stroke.
This is what high blood pressure sounds like. You might not feel its symptoms, but the results from a heart attack or stroke are far from silent. Get back on your treatment plan or talk with your doctor to create a plan that works for you. Go to loweryourhbp.org.
Everything's changed.
Brought to you by the American Heart Association, American Medical Association, and the Ad Council.
Come on, smile. Oh, honey, he's still not smiling.
Maybe he's not a smiler.
Yeah, maybe he's just not a happy baby.
Maybe he's just being a boy.
Or maybe he's teething.
Maybe it's just a phase.
Maybe he has autism, and we can definitely do something to help.
Maybe is all you need to find out more about autism. No big, joyful smiles by 6 months is one early sign. Learn the others at autismspeaks.org/signs. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
My name is Lola Silvestri, and I'm going to be 95 this year. I was very independent. I fell, and I had to have Meals on Wheels. America, let's do lunch.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org. This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
You just heard this exact message without the s and s. If that was to understand, imagine your local hospital was missing the d types. Schedule to redcross.org. You just heard this exact message without the A's, B's, and O's. If that was hard to understand, imagine your local hospital was missing the A, B, or O blood types, and a loved one was in desperate need of a blood transfusion. Schedule to donate at redcrossblood.org.
In 50 feet, turn left. Why are you driving so slowly?
After a few drinks, I'm taking it slow.
Well, you're not fooling the cop behind you.
What?
Get ready to pay in 0.1 miles.
Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kristen.
The following is a presentation of Washington and Lee men's basketball on 91.5 FM WLUR Lexington. Now let's go live to the gymnasium. Here is Jeremy Franklin.
Well, again, we welcome you to Crenshaw Gym here in Ashland, where Washington and Lee is getting set to take on Randolph-Macon, the ODAC men's basketball opener for the General Second Conference game for the Jackets. They beat Ferrum, the newcomers to the league this year, by 19 8 days ago. Randolph-Macon 7-0, and all 7 of those victories have come by double digits. Most impressively, a 94-74 win at 18th-ranked Emory on Sunday. 15 points apiece for 3 different Yellow Jackets in that game. Buzz Anthony, Darrell Williams, and Ian Robertson. Monteese Adams had his second career double-double, 11 points and 12 rebounds, as the Jackets extended their best start since the 2009-2010 season. That team started 13-0 and ended up in the Division III Final Four. The Generals are 4-1. It's their best start in several seasons since the 2011-2012 team opened up 4-1 as well. Randolph-Macon, though, against the Generals in this building, almost unbeatable for decades now. Of the last 39 contests between the two teams here, the Yellow Jackets have won 38. Just one victory for the Generals on the road against Macon since Dwight Eisenhower was in the White House. So that's the history the Generals are up against. It's recent memory, at least, when WNL won here was in the 2010-2011 season when Washington and Lee grabbed a victory by a 65-57 count. Beg pardon, the 2009-2010 season, the year after current head coach Chris McHugh graduated. When Chris was on the team, the Generals broke a long overall losing streak, a 43-game overall skid against Macon with a win at the Warner Center in December of 2007. Glad to have you with us as we get the conference season underway for the Generals, trying to make a statement against the conference. Same lineup for WNL that started the win over Mary Washington on Monday. That'll be William Brueggemann, the 6'3 sophomore from Houston, who scored a career-high 29 against the Eagles. Devin Kern, 6'3 senior from Cibolo, Texas. Kevin Denon, 6'2 junior from Severna Park, Maryland. Roy McMillan, 6'5 senior from Raleigh. And Curtis Mitchell, 6'8 sophomore from Chevy Chase. Mitchell and John Noel on the tip, and we are underway. The Generals in road blue, Randolph-Macon in home yellow, that lemon yellow and black. Yellow Jackets go right to left, the Generals left-right here in the first half. Buzz Anthony going inside to Grayson Medulla, trying to hit someone on the backdoor cut, then goes up for the shot. It's no good, and Roy McMillan wins a battle for the rebound. Outlet to Devin Kearns. So the Generals get a stop on their first possession. And now Brueggemann has it wing left side. He's matched up against Medulla. Kicks it out to Kearns between the circles. Kearns against Buzz Anthony, great sophomore point guard. Hits McMillan on the cut ball, knocked away. McMillan gets it back, feeds Brueggemann off the dribble. Right wing three, no good. But a long rebound off the back heel comes to McMillan. He'll drive in, put up the floater, and put the Generals up 2-0. So it's Anthony Medulla along with Corey Bays, Daryl Williams, and John Noel, the starting lineup for Randolph-Macon. A very deep and very balanced Yellow Jacket team. No different from the squad that went 18-8 last season and won the ODAC regular season title. Teams split their meetings in 2017-18. Each squad wanted home. Here's Anthony from the left wing. Fakes the three with Mitchell defending. And then Anthony's pass to the wing, stolen away by McMillan. No numbers here. It's 1-on-3. So Roy will wait for the help. He gets it to Devin Kearns, senior classmate. Two All-ODAC selections returning to the fold for the Generals this season. Kearns dribbling top of the arc, left side to Kevin Denon, who makes his second career start tonight. He scored 9 points at 3 3-pointers against Mary Washington Monday. Weave out front, Kearns gets it, drops it off to Mitchell. Right side, Brueggemann's open for three. That's in and out. He made his first 9 shots of the field against Mary Washington. En route to those 29 points. We've got a blocking foul at the other end as Denon makes some contact on Buzz Anthony. That's our first whistle. 18-12 to go. First half, and the Generals up 2-0. Buzz Anthony leading this Randolph-Macon team, 15.3 points, 5.3 assists. He had a double-double, 15 points and 10 assists when the Jackets won here against the Generals last year. And he gets an assist on the inbounds pass here as he sets up Grayson Medulla for the layup. 2-2, and we've played 2 minutes here in the first half. And a whistle away from the basketball as the Generals are running their offensive set. And it's going against Corey Bays of the Yellow Jackets. That's the first Randolph-Macon foul. Shot clock at 24, so no change there as Kearns will fling it into McMillan. Out front to Denon. Denon left side to Kearns, coming around a McMillan screen, works into the corner. Kearns trying to attack, not able to get by Williams on the initial drive. Shot clock down to 9. Kearns will step back and pop the long jump shot. No. Randolph-Macon making WNL settle for a tough 2, and the Yellow Jackets clear the boards. At the other end, Medulla, great three-point shooter. Brueggemann closes out. Medulla driving dish. Comes out to the wing. The three is up. That's no good for Bays. And the Generals have it this time. McMillan on the attack into the lane. Turn around. 8-footer good. Roy McMillan, who got the Generals going on Monday, has the first 2 buckets tonight. It's 4-2, Washington and Lee. Anthony wing left side against Kearns, 2 of the best point guards in the ODAC, going head-to-head tonight. Hands off to Medulla, right side 3 is good. McMillan's got the first 4 for the Generals. Grayson Medulla notching the first 5 for the Jackets. And a 1-point Macon lead, 3 minutes into the first half here in Ashland. Kevin Kearns out front to Kevin Denon. Denon squares to the rim, hands off to Mitchell on the perimeter. Mitchell trying to drive into Noel, gets into the lane, leans around Noel, still blocks his shot. Noel's given up a couple of inches in height to Mitchell, but he stayed between Curtis and the basket. Out of bounds to the Generals with his shot clock at 8. First changes of the game for Washington and Lee. Mark Krogan, Alex Starr, and Trey Lewis all check in. They will play with Kearns and McMillan, and we'll see Montes Adams come in for Macon. Shot clock at 8 as Kearns will inbound from down low. Kearns hits Starr, low blocks, ball knocked away. Starr gets it back, feeds Lewis. 4 to shoot. Lewis, step back 12-footer on the baseline. Good after he shook off his defender. Lewis not a big scorer for Washington and Lee, but gets the bucket late in the possession, and the Generals lead at 6-5. 16:26 to play first half. Kearns guarding Anthony out front. Now Anthony on the attack. Gets down low, kick out to Medulla, fakes the right wing 3, pulls up for a 14-footer. It's short and rebounded by Mark Krogan. Outlet to Devin Kearns. Long pass ahead to Starr. Now to Kearns in the half-court set. Kearns fires underneath to Lewis, who got down low and lays it up and in. Back-to-back buckets from Trey Lewis, and the Generals up 8-5. Anthony wing right side, hands off to Bays, ready to shoot the deep 3, and he knocks it down. Corey Bays, the first Yellow Jacket other than Grayson Medulla to score, and we're tied up at 8, 15:46 to play first half. Kearns gives you down front to McMillan, guarded by Medulla. McMillan on the attack, gets into the lane and then travels. Darrell Williams presented himself as the help. He quickly backed off, and I think McMillan was expecting to be double-teamed, and his momentum carried him into that turnover. William Brueggemann back in for the Generals. McMillan will get his first break. And we'll see Luke Neely for the first time for the Yellow Jackets along with Corey Turner. They play with Medulla, Anthony, and Adams. 4 players averaging double figures for the Yellow Jackets, 3 for the Generals. McMillan, Brueggemann, and Kearns all at 14.8 points per game or better. It's a gifted offensive team, Washington and Lee. Coming off that season-high 94 points against Mary Washington. Tough fadeaway mid-range for Anthony over a couple of taller defenders. And the Generals clear the boards. 8-8, 15-10 to go. Kearns on the left wing to Krogan out front. Gives it to Brueggemann. Brueggemann down the lane, absorbs some contact, misses the bank shot, but taps the rebound out, and it's tracked down by Starr at midcourt. Fresh 30-second clock for Washington and Lee. Wing left side, it's Kearns. Eyeing the basket now, gives it up to Krogan. Krogan dribbles and then hands off to Lewis. Right side, Brueggemann. Brueggemann gets into the lane, goes to the running scoop shot, and it's good. Off the glass for William Brueggemann. He was 10 feet away from the rim. Used the window nicely, underhanded. Stepping into a 3, though, at the other end is Montes Adams, who drains that. And the Yellow Jackets have an 11-10 lead, 14:25 to play. Competitive first half thus far. Foul line extended to right wing. Krogan hands off to Starr after a couple of dribbles. Starr on the perimeter, cuts to the right side, gives to Brueggemann. Brueggemann again putting it on the deck and spins and lost the ball, but fortunately for the Generals, it rolls out of bounds off the leg of Montes Adams. Washington and Lee will keep it with his shot clock at 9. Kevin Denon back in for Washington and Lee. Also in for the first time is Tevin Panchel, the first year out of Belmont, California. Baseline inbounds play. Panchel, the trigger man, he gets it in to Starr. Starr the attack, the spin, the layup well short though, but a late whistle and a foul. And that will result in our first free throws of the game. That's on Luke Neely. Just 3 total fouls in the first 5 minutes and 56 seconds. That's the second on Randolph Macon. And Alex Starr to the line for 2, the senior captain from Upper Saddle River, New Jersey, who started all but 1 game last season. Asked to take a different role this year coming off the bench. He's embraced that so far. 5.8 points, 2 assists per game. And he knocks down the first free throw. Starr at 73% at the foul line this year. That one tied the score. And now the second for Starr. Got the roll, so the Generals lead at 12-11. Anthony jogs it through the midcourt circle for Macon. Working out front against Kevin Denon. Left wing pass to Neely. Neely Back to midcourt to Corey Turner. Now Turner into the lane. Turner bounce pass to Neely. Baby hook from the baseline up in. Good. Great ball movement by Randolph Macon to set up the open look. Another lead change. It's 13-12. And then Panchel gets in trouble at the other end. He lost the ball. Has to go to the deck and gets tied up. It will stay with Washington and Lee on the alternating possession. And that'll take us to a timeout. 13:35 to play in the opening half. It's Randolph-Macon 13, Washington and Lee 12. You're listening to Generals Basketball on WLUR and WLUR All Access, powered by First Team Broadcasting.
When you went car shopping, you meant business. You aced vehicle history searches and test drives. You out-salesmaned the salesman. Now you've got your wheels. If you manage that, you can get your retirement plan on track. Visiting aceyourretirement.org can help. With 401k tips and smart saving strategies, you'll have the info you need to get more for your future. Go to aceyourretirement.org, because when it comes to speeding past financial challenges, you're an ace. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Tonight's broadcast of Generals Basketball is brought to you in part by the Washington and Lee University Store. Owned and operated by W&L, the University Store is located right on campus in Elrod Commons. The store features a wide range of apparel celebrating Washington and Lee, including the Peter Millar Collegiate Collection, offering polos and sweaters for your game day style. If you're looking for workout gear, we have a variety of performance apparel from Nike and Under Armour. All proceeds go back to the Washington and Lee community, helping to fund athletic alumni and student programs. The store is open 7 days a week. Order online anytime at store.wlu.edu. 13:35 to play first half. Randolph-Macon 13, Washington and Lee 12. Jeremy Franklin with you at Crenshaw Gymnasium tonight. Solid start for both teams. Washington and Lee 5 of 10 from the field. Randolph-Macon 5 of 9, including 3 of 4 from beyond the arc. Generals have it. Mitchell in the high post. Off to the wing to McMillan. McMillan right side, Brueggemann. Brueggemann guarded by Turner, hits Panchel on the cut. He got open down low. Should have gone up for the layup. Instead, he tried to pass it, and he threw it right to Luke Neely. Maybe he didn't realize that he was wide open as defender. I think it slipped at the top of the key. At the other end, Adams looking for another three off target on the wing. Neely skies in for the rebound and saves it back into Anthony. 30-second clock reset for Randolph-Macon. Turner from up top, pulls up left elbow, jumper good. Long two for Turner. 5 different Yellow Jackets have scored. They lead at 15-12. Kevin Denon on the right side. And a whistle away from the basketball as Corey Turner and William Brueggemann were battling, and the foul goes against Turner, his first. Third team foul. Panchel out, Kearns in with 12:44 to play in the half. We'll hear from Devin Kearns coming up at halftime. He visited with our own Ellie Cosgrove a few days ago. McMillan, left corner three, is off target and rebounded by Montes Adams. The Generals 0 of 4 from downtown. They were 12 of 24 against Randolph-Macon on Monday. Buzz Anthony got to the rim really easily that time and lays it up and in for his first points. So he becomes the 6th Jacket to score here tonight, knocking away the inbounds pass. And Randolph-Macon picking up some full court pressure here. Mitchell will come into Brueggemann, just a man-to-man look for the Yellow Jackets. Brueggemann brings it up against Ian Robertson, the first year just came on. Drive and dish to McMillan in the corner. He misses another three. Jumper's not falling early on for Washington and Lee. Making up by 5, 12:05 to go. Turner hands off to the corner to Robertson, coming off a 15-point performance in that win over Emory on Sunday. Into the lane goes Darrell Williams, gets down low. Post up, no, though, over Mitchell, who may have gotten a piece of that. At the other end, it's Kearns. Slings it to the corner to Brueggemann. Good closeout, no three, but Denon will take one from the wing, and he knocks it down. Kevin Denon with the first three-pointer tonight for the Generals to pull them back within 2. 8.5 minutes gone by. Buzz Anthony, left wing to Turner, into the corner to Williams. Comes back to Turner. And he'll lob it across to Anthony with 14 to shoot. Now Turner again. Back to Williams. Shot fake, drives baseline. Now to Turner, who fires up the tray. Misses everything. Too strong with the air ball, and here comes Brueggemann. Brueggemann driving down the lane, and Turner with the strip. knocking the ball out across the baseline. Grayson Medulla, Corey Bays back in for Macon. John Noel will also come on the floor. They will play with Anthony and Robertson. Right now for the Generals, it's Mitchell, McMillan, Denon, Brueggemann, and Kearns inbounding. Lob into McMillan out front, hands off to Brueggemann. Brueggemann to right side to Devin Kearns. Driving to the wing. Guarded by Anthony, gets into the lane, pulls up at the foul line, missing the jumper. Offensive rebound, though, for McMillan. Kick to Brueggemann, left side three, way too strong. And the Jackets have it this time. 17-15 Macon, 10:45 to play first half. Ball comes inside to Medulla, trying to back down Denon. Here comes the double with Mitchell. Kick to Anthony, right side. Corey Bays hits his second three. Yellow Jackets found the open man after the Generals double team. The lead back to 5. Entry pass, a good one from Kearns to McMillan, who absorbs a bit of a contact down low and lays it up and in. 6 for McMillan, 20-17. Robertson left open, but he will not shoot the three. Gives it back up to Anthony. Robertson again on the left side. It looks like the Generals have gone to a zone. Noel gets it high post, drives in on Mitchell, running layup, no. Medulla got a tap on the rebound. Noel claims it. Now Robertson will shoot the three, but he misses from the left side, and the board to Brueggemann. Here comes Kearns, handing off to Mitchell. Just past the midway point of the first half. Denon stop and pop three, top of the key, counted off the give from Mitchell. And we are tied up at 20. And a timeout taken by Chris McHugh. His team has just knotted things up 20-20 with 9:46 to play first half. November schedule into early December. A lot of away games for Washington and Lee. This is their 4th true road game of the season and their 5th game away from home. So far, so good. Had the loss to Drew in the championship game of the Rangers tournament up in New Jersey, but road wins over William Peace, Southern Virginia, and then the neutral site victory against Dickinson. And looked very impressive in their first ever game in the Duchess Swat Tennis Center on Monday. That 16-point win over a 3-0 Mary Washington team. Well, again, they have not won here at Randolph-Macon since January of 2010, and that's the only victory for the Generals against the Yellow Jackets in Ashland in 6 decades. 20 all, just past the 10-minute mark here in the first half. And 20 on the scoreboard for the Generals without a single point from Devin Kearns, who comes in averaging almost 15 a game. He does have 3 assists, closing in on the career top 5 in that category. 6 apiece for Denon and McMillan. Randolph-Macon basketball, the Generals still in the zone. Medulla drives and kicks it back out. Bays gets it on the wing. Playing hot potato right now along the perimeter. Anthony top of the key. The Generals in that 2-3 matchup. 8 on the shot clock. Anthony slings it right corner. Medulla into the lane. Wants to give it up. Does so. Neely left side 3. That's no good. But then Brueggemann fumbles the rebound out of bounds. And the Yellow Jackets will get it with a new shot clock. The possession timer was down to 1 when Neely's 3 hit the rim. But an extended trip for Macon. Good initial defense for Washington and Lee, but you have to control that rebound. Ball comes into John Noel. Hands off right side to Terry Woods, who just came on. Now Neely up to Bays, left side Woods. And Woods just fumbled it. Krogan picks it up. Here comes Lewis. Lewis, will he go one-on-one? He will. And what a finish by Trey Lewis. Took a bump and then off the glass and good. 6 in the first half for Lewis. And the Generals have a 22-20 lead. Corey Bays, left side 3. No. Quick shot. Quick rebound to Roy McMillan. Trying to get that off before the Generals defense got set. Now Kearns will drive. Looked like a foul from Medulla, no call. The ball blocked out of bounds, and it will stay with the Generals. They're up by 2 with 8:40 to play in the first half. Have not been a lot of whistles at all in the first 11-plus minutes. 3 fouls on Macon, only 1 called so far on the Generals. So I pose in that sense, maybe that's not a foul. Hasn't been an overly physical start to the game. McMillan, 3 off the inbounds. No, he's missed a couple times from that deep left corner, and here comes Bays. Shoots it ahead to Neely. Lob back out to Woods. Looks like the Generals have switched back into man-to-man, at least for this possession. Into Medulla. Trying to post up Brueggemann, drops it underneath to Noel. He's pinned down low, has to feed the corner. 3 is up and good for Luke Neely. Neely's got 5, Macon back in front, 23-22. Lewis on the left side for the Generals. Around it comes to Kearns. Kearns looking, now lobbing across to McMillan. McMillan wants to hand it back off now. Hits Kearns on the cut. Kearns off glass, no over base. Contested shot, a tough one. And here comes Woods for the Jackets. Ahead to Noel. They get it to Medulla, who's wide open in the left corner. But his 3 is no good. Maybe too open. Hits it off the heel of the rim. Kearns at the other to McMillan. Left side to Lewis. Now hits Brueggemann on the cut, double down low. Ball comes out to Kearns, right side 3 off target. Rebound kept alive, though, by Brueggemann, and the Generals can reset the offense. And ball swatted out of bounds by Bays. Washington and Lee will keep it. 7:21 to play first half. Randolph-Macon up 23-22. Some changes for both teams, so let's reset the lineups for you. It'll be Medulla, Anthony, Adams, Robertson, and Bays for the Jackets against Lewis, McMillan, Panchel, Mitchell, and Starr for W&L. Roy McMillan out front. Mitchell wants it high post. Squares to the rim. Drops it off to McMillan, left side, 3, good. Finally gets one to go. Roy McMillan has 9, and the Generals are back up by 2. At the other end, Anthony gets it out front, hands behind to Robertson. He gives it off to Medulla, thinks about the 3, now passes off to Adams. Flips behind to Robertson. Robertson will give to Bays. Generals with good defense along the perimeter to keep Macon from getting open. Until now, Bays all alone left side, but his 3-ball rims out. Generals caught a break. They missed an assignment for a moment in that matchup zone. Panchel to McMillan. Stepping back to the midcourt circle now. Starts up the left side. He was given space, so he'll step up and drain another 3. And the Generals are up by 5 against number 17 Randolph-Macon. 6:19 to play in the first half. Anthony coming around the screen. Stops at the foul line. Flips to the corner, Medulla. Back out to Bays. Right side, Anthony. Anthony trying to drive around, Panchel does, but Mitchell there, so Anthony with the feed, cutting baseline, Montease Adams, who lays it up and in. Another dime for Anthony, 3-point ball game. Panchel to the wing, bounce pass left side to Starr. Inside, Mitchell was wide open for a moment, hesitated, and that allowed Adams to recover, and he blocks Mitchell's layup attempt. Running the floor, Medulla got the feed, I believe, from Adams, and Grayson Medulla with the basket. Couple of quick hoops for Macon, and the Jackets are back within 1. 5.5 minutes to go here. Lewis open right corner 3, in and out. Trey Lewis already has 6 points, which is just 1 off his career high. Would have set that if that shot had fallen. At the other end, Robertson working baseline, gets to the rim and scores. Shot fake got Mitchell out of the way, and the Generals could not recover in time. And the Washington and Lee lead, very short-lived. Randolph-Macon with a 6-0 run. The Jackets up 29-28 with 5:11 to go in the first half. You're listening to Generals basketball on WLUR and WLUR All Access. We'll be right back to Crenshaw Gym.
Hi, I'm Chris Pine. Children's Miracle Network hospitals are amazing places. It takes tremendous resources to care for sick and injured kids and to keep them smiling and laughing even during their toughest treatments. That's why donations are so very important. Please join me in supporting your children's hospital so every kid has a chance to get better. Put your money where the miracles are. Give to your Children's Miracle Network hospital.
Welcome back to the campus of Randolph-Macon College here in Ashland, Virginia. Jeremy Franklin with you for our coverage of Generals Hoops tonight. It's Randolph-Macon 29, Washington and Lee 28 with 5:11 to go. It has been a very entertaining first half so far. Have to be at least half a dozen lead changes. The Generals were up by 5, and in the blink of an eye, Randolph-Macon with 3 straight buckets to regain the edge. Yellow Jackets 7-0, a team that has dealt with some postseason frustration over the last couple of seasons. They were the outright regular season champions last year, shared the ODAC regular season title in 2016-17, but lost in the conference quarterfinals in both years, upset by this Washington and Lee team 2 years ago in the 2-7 matchup, and then by Eastern Mennonite, the 8 seed last year. But a veteran team, lots of juniors and seniors, along with a star sophomore point guard in Buzz Anthony. And the Yellow Jackets sprinting out of the gate to that 7-0 start. Here's Kevin Denon down the lane. That has to be a charge. No, they're going to call a block as Denon got into the lane. Buzz Anthony can't believe it. Neither can the fans here. Neither can I, for that matter. It looked like Anthony was in good position outside the restricted area. Maybe he had a heel across the semicircle. That's the only thing I can think of. So the Generals catch a break, and Kevin Denon will head to the free throw line. Denon already has knocked down a couple of threes, which is what he does. Free throw here is up and good. First foul on Buzz Anthony. For Kevin Denon, 85% of his points in a Washington and Lee uniform have come beyond the three-point arc. 75% of his points tonight have come from three as he hits both free throws. So he's got 8. And the Generals in front 30-29. 4:55 to play. At the other end, Medulla. Generals still in their matchup. Very aggressive zone. Medulla drives from the top of the key, gets to the rim, and is able to finish in traffic. And the lead changes hands again, making 31, WNL 30. Kevin Denon, wing left side, flips it out front to Lewis. Now the Yellow Jackets will show some zone. Brueggemann gets it out front, left side, Denon. Looks like a 3-2 for Macon, a deep 3 for Panchel, no. And the long rebound secured by Ian Robertson. Walked across by Turner. Calls the play between the circles. Guarded by Denon. Generals in man defense on this possession. Anthony, drive and dish out to Robertson on the wing. He'll step back and launch the jumper. Foot on the line, it's a long 2, but it goes down for Ian Robertson. And the Jackets lead it 33-30 inside of 4 minutes to play in the half. William Brueggemann, deep right corner. Brueggemann lobs it out front to Denon. A deep 3 is good. Nothing but net for Kevin Denon. He was about 5 feet behind the line there. And then he comes up at midcourt trying to challenge Anthony and gets called for a blocking foul. There have only been 2 fouls on Washington and Lee, but they've both been committed by Denon. He'll stay out there for now. 33 all, and about to hit 3:33 on the game clock. Darrell Williams, top of the arc for Randolph-Macon. Here's Anthony on the right side. Anthony into the lane. Feed back out to Turner. Now Anthony again. Shot clock at 6 here. Anthony around the perimeter, guarded by Kearns. Into the lane to Turner's. Got to take the 3 over McMillan. It is no good, but the rebound fought for and won by Medulla. Fended off a challenge from Denon. Now Turner will take it inside, but Mitchell at 6'8" in the way. That shot nowhere close to the rim. Generals have it. Kearns, left corner, Denon fakes the shot, now takes the shot and makes the shot. Kevin Denon got his man out of the way. He's got 14 in the first half, and the Generals go back in front 36-33, 2:45 to play. 4 made threes for Kevin Denon, and then a turnover. Medulla lost the handle, and the ball goes right to McMillan. Now McMillan, the drive, pulls up elbow, flings it to Denon, left corner 3, another one for Kevin Denon. 5th of the first half for the junior from Severna Park, Maryland. He has set a new career high in points, and he's given the Generals a 39-33 lead with 2:26 to play. Unconscious right now, that was contested. He hit one from way beyond the arc, up top just a moment ago. Previous career best was 15 when he knocked down 5 3-pointers in a win over William Peace last season. He's got 5 3-pointers and a pair of free throws in the first half tonight. What a performance As we said just a moment ago, 85% of the points that he has scored in his career have come on three-pointers, 141 of his 165 prior to tonight. Career 40.5% shooter from beyond the arc. Don't have our stats working at the moment, but if memory serves, he's only missed one shot tonight. 39-33 Generals. Dented out there with McMillan, Mitchell, Lewis, and Kearns. For the Jackets, it's Bays, Anthony, Adams, Williams, and Medulla. Anthony bounced pass to the high post to Williams. Hands back off to Anthony. Going inside Medulla. Kick to Anthony from the corner. Now top of the arc, Montice Adams. Away to Bays. 11 to shoot. Bays will hand off to Williams. Now going inside, Adams backing down Kearns. Feeds Anthony. 4 on the shot clock. Anthony for 3. No. And the rebound hustled down by McMillan. Great defensive possession for the Generals coming out of the timeout. Anthony not a big-time three-point shooter. Then Kearns drives at the other end, and that's his first bucket tonight as he finishes on the layup. Does have a handful of assists. It's an 8-point lead for Washington and Lee. Minute 40 to go. Buzz Anthony on the right wing gives it over to Bays. Now lob to the corner for Medulla. Medulla backing down the shorter defender. Lewis misses at the rim but draws the contact. And that'll mean free throws for Grayson Medulla. Senior from right next door in Glen Allen.
His first 13 foul.
Medulla led the Jackets in scoring in the game in Lexington last year. He had 18, but Clayton Murtha with 27 for the Generals. They won 84-76 in the regular season finale, and Medulla seemed to miss everything on the foul shot. And he's got 9 points in the first half, 50% foul shooter, and he holds true to his average as he knocks down the second. 90 seconds to play before the break. It's Washington and Lee 41, Randolph-Macon 34. The Generals trying to win in Ashland for the first time in 9 seasons. And again, just the second time in about 60 years. Lewis inside, the feed from Kearns, no. Now Mitchell off the offensive rebound. Floats it off the back iron and good. That's the first 2 for Curtis Mitchell. Comes in 4th on the team in scoring, 7.8 a game. So 2 points from Kearns, 2 from Mitchell, 2 from Brueggemann, the second leading scorer coming off their career high 29. But all those threes raining in from Kevin didn't have the Generals in front. Montice Adams cans a triple from the deep right corner. And it's a 6-point game with 47 seconds to play. Kearns drive and dish, nearly stolen away. In fact, it is stolen away. Mitchell kept it alive for a moment, but then it's grabbed by Bays, and Mitchell with the foul to prevent a fast break. It's actually a great foul because the Generals are way under the limit, and it's just the first on Mitchell. Otherwise, it would have been numbers going the other way. 43.5 seconds to go, and the Jackets have had trouble finding good shots in the half court down the stretch. Generals very active defensively. Anthony, a step-back 3. Forget what I told you about him not being a great three-point shooter. He made that look easy. Jackets within 3. 27 seconds left in the half. About a 3-second differential between shot and game clocks. Lewis into the paint. Kicks it back out to Mitchell. Mitchell along the perimeter. Now gives it over to McMillan. Squares to the rim, 15 to go. McMillan to Kearns. 11 seconds left in the half. Kearns eyeing the shot and game clocks here. Almost lost it off the dribble, then gets double teamed, got it back, pulls up, and cans the jumper at the shot clock buzzer. A mid-range shot. The Yellow Jackets will not get off at a tip before the break, and the Generals will take a 5-point lead into halftime. Our score at the intermission tonight here in Ashland, Washington and Lee 45 and Randolph-Macon 40. Devin Kearns with the last bucket of the half. We'll hear from the senior captain when we come back. You're listening to Generals basketball on WLUR and WLUR All Access, powered by First Team Broadcasting.
Hi, I found a toy dinosaur over on the playground by Smith Street. It had this phone number on it, and, well, I just wanted to make sure the dinosaur made it back to its little owner.
When I found the little sippy cup, I just had to give you a call. It's for a kid, you know?
I know my son gets super attached to the smallest things, even a fire truck, and I'd be happy to drop it off.
We'd do anything for kids, yet 1 in 6 children in the U.S. struggle with hunger. Help end childhood hunger. Learn how at feedingamerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
This message is for all of you sitting in the passenger seat. And apologies if it gets a little uncomfortable, but how does it feel to be at the mercy of someone who thinks a random text is more important than your life? Someone who takes their eyes off the road while speeding along in a 3-ton hunk of steel. Freaky, right? Well, why not just ask them to stop? Or better yet, volunteer to text for them. It might be a little awkward, but believe me, you'll live.
Learn more at stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
You're not wired to have a response to this sound. You're neutral to it. And you can hear it repeatedly without feeling anything. But when we introduce a new stimulus, save the food, we've achieved pulling a natural or inborn response from you. Save the food, because 40% of all food in the US never gets eaten. Save the food. Cook it, store it, share it. Just don't waste it. For tips and recipes, visit savethefood.com. Brought to you by NRDC and the Ad Council.
You wanted to be a teacher when you were little, but as you grew up, things changed. Teaching just didn't seem like the best option anymore, so you decided to become something else. But what would your 12-year-old self say? Interesting and innovative things are happening in teaching today, so it's time to put it back on your list. Don't try to convince yourself otherwise. You had it right the first time.
Find out how you can make more at teach.org. Make more. Teach. Brought to you by Teach and the Ad Council.
It is halftime here at Crenshaw Gym in Ashland tonight. Washington and Lee on top of Randolph-Macon 45-40. It became the Kevin Dennen show down the stretch. I was mistaken when I said that I thought he had missed one shot. He missed 0. 5 of 5 from three-point range. He made a pair of free throws as well. A career high already for Dennen. And along with 12 points from Roy McMillan, has the Generals in front in a place where they have only won once in the last 39 meetings with Randolph-Macon. Devin Kearns hit the bucket right before the buzzer. He had 4 points in the first half along with 3 assists. And earlier this month, he visited with our own Ellie Cosgrove. Time now for the WLUR halftime conversation.
Hello, Washington and Lee sports fans. I'm Ellie Cosgrove, and today I'm being joined by a senior captain on the WNL men's basketball team, Devin Kearns. Devin, good to have you.
Great to be here.
So my first question, I don't want to dwell on the past too much, but rewinding back to last year, you guys made it to the ODAC semifinals and finished with a 17-10 overall record. What is the goal for this year? Are you guys building off of last year or kind of looking forward?
Obviously, we're looking to build off of last year. We had one of the best seasons in the program history, but still felt a little bit disappointed at the end of the year because we didn't ultimately win the championship. Like you said, we made it to the semifinals for the second year in a row and weren't able to finish out the season with a win. So this year we're looking to have a better record, win more games throughout the season, and then also hopefully win ODACs at the end of the year during the tournament.
Kind of a follow-up to that, you had Coach McHugh for the first year last year, and now you have a new assistant coach this year. What was it like last year kind of having that fresh coaching staff come in?
It was a good difference, mainly because we had a big culture change. Obviously, you can see in the difference in records from my freshman year and my sophomore year that having Coach McHugh made a huge difference because we didn't really change a lot in terms of lineup and personnel. But he really knew how to be a player's coach and use our skills to the advantage of the team. He just knew how each player would work cohesively with each other, and so the system that we have now kind of allows us to play to our best ability.
And earlier this season, actually a couple weeks ago, you guys played Division I teams like Davidson and Radford. What was this experience like, and what did you guys kind of take away from those games?
Those games were fun. It's definitely nice to be playing in a different setting in a D1 environment where the arena is much larger. It seems like it's a higher stakes game because there's more people there and there's media timeouts and whatnot. But obviously we didn't win those games, but we were able to learn a lot. And it was like McHugh says all the time, iron sharpens iron. So they made us better because we were able to adjust to certain skill levels that were higher than what we're used to seeing. Physicality. One of the issues that we had, especially against Davidson, was transition defense. And so when we were done with those 2 games, that was a big focus in practice. And so you'll probably see during the William Peace game, we were a lot better on transition defense, especially with a team that likes to push the pace and get early offensive buckets.
So a big point that I'd like to ask you about, last year you graduated 3 seniors, one of which was Clayton Murtha, who's a big man underneath the basket, Nick George, who's pretty dangerous beyond the arc, and Michael Hagar, who scored some points off the bench for you guys. What has it taken to fill these roles this year, and have you been able to move forward from losing them last year?
Yeah, so there's never going to be another player like Clayton. He's a Hall of Famer, extremely productive under the basket on defense and offense, rebounding ability, scoring ability. You just can't replace a guy like that. So this year we're a lot more spread out. We have pretty much all of our guys can attack from the outside and can hit the 3 from the outside, and so that makes us dangerous in terms of driving lanes and drives and kicks and moving the ball pretty fast up and down the court. Nick he was dangerous beyond the arc, but where he really added value for our team was defensively. He was the guy who would come up with the hustle plays when we needed him, would stop the best player on defense because he was a 6'4", fairly strong and athletic guy. And then Mike would obviously come off the bench and give us a lot of heart, a lot of hustle. Like he would make some plays where he would get the ball and it would be unfathomable. Like, how did he get the ball? How did he steal it? But we filled those roles in different ways, ways that kind of help our team now with the more spread out. Like, we have our freshmen, obviously, who come in and bring some new talent, some guys that can play defense the same way Nick could. We're also focusing a lot more on defense and stopping the drive this year anyway. So as a team, we're filling Nick's role. Offensively, like I said, we're spreading it out more, so we don't need the inside presence as much, even though it hurts to lose the rebounding and defensive presence like Clayton was. We still are powerful offensively. And then this year, we're just in better shape. So overall, getting hustle plays, making sure that we get back on defense, staying straight up, should be able to make up for the big loss that those 3 left behind.
You mentioned freshmen in that answer. How many do you have this year, and how are they kind of adjusting to the program?
Yeah, so we have 4 freshmen. One of them's kind of injured right now, but the 3 other ones who've been playing and getting into practice are picking it up really quick. They're pretty solid, physically ready to play, very skilled. Tevin, Mark Lamandola, and Gus, and Mark Nadiello, he's the one who's out. But Tevin, Mark Lamandola, and Gus, all 3 have the ability to contribute this year. They have the skill level and the mind for the game. Tevin has a really tight handle, really fast with the ball, and can hit a shot from anywhere on the court, and surprisingly good finisher for his size. Mark Lamandola is a freak athlete. He'll get the most absurd steals, kind of in a Mike Hagar type of way, and also just a defensive solid stopper like Nick. And still has the ability to hit the open 3 or to drive to the basket real strong and mush a guy, as we like to say, and finish a layup. And then Gus is just a natural knack at offensive boards. I swear that kid gets all the offensive boards during practice. He just has a feel for the game, feel where the ball is going to go, and bounce off the basket, and he's picking up the offense quickly.
Cool. And you mentioned some names, and I just think this is really funny. We don't have to dwell on it long, but you guys have 3 marks, a Tevin, Devin, and Kevin. Does that get confusing at all during practice or games?
Yes, obviously. If your name is Tevin, Devin, or Kevin, if you just hear Evan, it doesn't matter what the first letter is, you think it's your name. So obviously that would get confusing. But with the marks, we usually have nicknames for them anyway. Like Mark Krogan, call him just Krogan, and Lamandola, we call him Dola. Nadiello, we call him Nadiello. We hardly call any of them Mark anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Nice. And then my last question, you guys kind of displayed a quick offense in transition last year and aggressive defense as well. Are you guys kind of having the same game plan this year, or adjusting depending on the personnel you have, or what's it kind of looking like?
Like I mentioned earlier with the loss of Clayton, we're able to spread out a little bit more and attack from the outside, get layups, shoot 3s. It opens up the driving lanes. So if we were fast in transition and aggressive last year, we're going to be even quicker and even more aggressive. Especially now, like, not even that we've spread it out more, but now that we've have a year under our belt and we understand the offense a little bit better, we're way more advanced now at this point in the season than we were last year. And so what we're probably going to see is way faster transitions, way more aggressive offensively, and hopefully we're scoring the ball at a higher clip that's more efficient.
Well, cool. Well, thanks so much for joining me today, and good luck with the rest of your senior season.
Thanks for having me.
For WLUR, I'm Ellie Cosgrove.
Well, thanks to Ellie for that great conversation with Devin Kearns. His Generals leading Randolph-Macon 45-40 at the intermission here in Ashland. I'd be remiss if we did not mention that Ellie Cosgrove was the first team All-ODAC libero for the Generals volleyball team this season, which came to this building, Crenshaw Gym, and won the ODAC title just a couple of weeks ago. So far, so good for men's basketball, seeking its first win on the road against Randolph-Macon in 9 seasons. Kevin Denton, what a terrific first 20 minutes. Already has set a new career high. The junior from Severna Park, Maryland, made 5 threes on as many attempts. Also knocked down a pair of free throws, so 17 for Denton. And then 12 points and 7 rebounds for Roy McMillan. Quiet on the scoring front from the likes of William Brueggemann, Devin Kearns, and Curtis Mitchell. They combined for 8 points. Brueggemann and Kearns did combine for 5 assists without a turnover. In fact, the Generals only had 3 turnovers in the entire first half. Only 3 as well for Randolph-Macon. 4 points. Well, what I'm looking at here is 4 points for Trey Lewis. I had him with 6, and Brueggemann with 2. They've got him with 4. And then 2 points for Alex Starr. On the other side, Grayson Medulla had 10 points for the Yellow Jackets, 8 points for Montes Adams, 6 for Corey Bays, 5 points and 9 assists for Buzz Anthony, 5 points for Luke Neely, 4 for Ian Robertson, and 2 for Corey Turner. Generals shot 51.5% from the field, 17 of 33. They were 7 of 17 from 3, including that 5 of 5 clip for Denton, 4 of 4 at the foul line. There were not a lot of whistles in that first half at all. In fact, just 8 combined fouls between the two teams. Randolph-Macon 16 of 32 from the field, also 7 of 17 from 3, and 1 of 2 at the foul line. As we mentioned, the turnover count minuscule for both, 3 apiece. Rebounding margin 18-14 in favor of Washington and Lee. Big ODAC game in Lynchburg tonight as well. The Hornets on top of Emory and Henry 26-23 with 5:01 left in the first half. One other conference contest tonight. Ferrum leading Eastern Mennonite 34-27 at the end of the first half. Virginia Wesleyan with an early lead at Averett. Shenandoah falling at home to Christopher Newport, down by 6. Randolph hosting the Apprentice School and Guilford at North Carolina Wesleyan for non-conference contest as well across the league on this final Wednesday in November. 45-40, Washington and Lee leading Randolph-Macon at the break. Second half action comes your way after a short timeout. You're listening to Generals Basketball on WLUR and WLUR All Access.
180 over 111, and I had a stroke.
145 over 92, and then I had a heart attack.
150 over 90, and I had a stroke.
This is what high blood pressure sounds like. You might not feel its symptoms, but the results from a heart attack or stroke are far from silent. Get back on your treatment plan or talk with your doctor to create a plan that works for you. Go to loweryourhbp.org.
Everything's changed.
Brought to you by the American Heart Association, American Medical Association, and the Ad Council.
Come on, smile. Oh, honey, he's still not smiling.
Maybe he's not a smiler.
Yeah, maybe he's just not a happy baby.
Maybe he's just being a boy.
Or maybe he's teething.
Maybe it's just a phase.
Maybe he has autism, and we can definitely do something to help.
Maybe is all you need to find out more about autism. No big, joyful smiles by 6 months is one early sign. Learn the others at autismspeaks.org/signs. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
Start of this second half here at Crenshaw Gym in Ashland. Jeremy Franklin with you for our coverage of Generals basketball as Washington and Lee leads Randolph-Macon 45-40. 17 from Kevin Denton, a career high, along with 12 points and 7 rebounds from Roy McMillan. As the Generals trying to win their first conference game of the season, Randolph-Macon coming in 1-0 in the league, 7-0 overall. And after not being ranked in the preseason, they are number 17 in the latest D3Hoops.com top 25 on the heels of an impressive 20-point true road win over number 18 Emory 3 days ago. Generals will send their starters back out there. Curtis Mitchell, Roy McMillan, William Brueggemann, Devin Kearns, and the first half hero Kevin Denon. That's Kevin and Devin. And we'll see Tevin off the bench. You heard Ellie Cosgrove asking Devin Kearns about the similarities in names among those three. For the Yellow Jackets, it'll be Bays, Anthony, Williams, Noel, and Medulla. Josh Merkel with his starters as well. Macon basketball to begin the second half underway as the Jackets go left to right. Buzz Anthony, 9 assists in the first half for Macon. Now Williams on the wing, dribbles to the foul line, hands it back off to Anthony. Squares up against Brueggemann. General start in a matchup zone. Williams on the drive, the runner good as Brueggemann goes down like he took an inadvertent shot in the mouth, and the officials will stop play to make sure the Brueggemann's okay. That's the first bucket tonight for Williams, the senior from Columbia, Maryland. So Brueggemann will get some attention here. We get a stoppage with 19:38 to play, and a 3-point Generals lead after the bucket from Williams. Brueggemann bleeding. Took an inadvertent shot maybe on the spin move there by Williams. So he'll get patched up, and the Generals will go ahead and make a change here. You get about 20 seconds to try to clean up before a substitution is mandated. So Trey Lewis will come back in. Stats have him with 4 points. I've got him with 6 already tonight. Lewis, whose career high is 7. Not really known for his scoring, more of a solid ball-handling guard and a good defender. Ball comes into McMillan. Generals' first look of the second half. McMillan smothered out front by Williams, away to Denon. Can't imagine he's going to get an open look in the second half unless the Generals can conjure up a double screen or something of that nature. So Mitchell driving in from the perimeter. Stops down low, almost lost the ball. Flips it back to Kearns. 8 on the shot clock here. Kearns to the elbow. Fade away. In and out. Foul on the rebound, and it's going against Randolph Macon. Mitchell trying to sneak in there for a board, and a hold spotted against Buzz Anthony. That'll be his second personal. So that will extend the Generals' first offensive look here in the second half. They lead at 45-42. Ball comes into McMillan. Left side, Denon. Right up in his grill is Bays. Away to Kearns, coming around a screen. Now Kearns driving baseline, pulls up, 10-footer, good. Devin Kearns hit the last bucket of the first half, but at just 4 points. So he gets the General started here in the second. 47-42, just over a minute in. Darrell Williams to the foul line, flips to Noel. Right side three, good for John Noel. That's his first bucket. And then Anthony knocking away the inbounds pass, and the steal completed by Williams. It's a 3-on-2. Here's Medulla to the rim, lays it up and in. Didn't see a lot of full-court defense from Macon in the first half, but a quick takeaway, and the Yellow Jackets have tied it up 47-all. Kearns wing right side, sends it out top to Mitchell. Mitchell one dribble, couple dribbles in fact, gives it away to Lewis. Lewis to the wing. And Lewis trying to attack on Bays, flips to the corner. Mitchell for three, that's short. Maybe not his shot, and the Yellow Jackets have a chance to take the lead. Anthony top of the arc. We saw a bunch of lead changes in the first half before the Generals crafted that 5-point margin at the break. Anthony looking inside for Noel, stolen away. Kearns knocked it to Denon, back to Kearns. And ahead to McMillan in the open floor. Yellow Jackets back. No transition look for W&L. Lewis wing right side, picks up his dribble. And now feeds it in for McMillan. Ball knocked away. Diving down to grab it is Medulla, as Anthony had poked it free, and Medulla hits the deck to get the steal. 47-all, 17:33 to play. Anthony stops at the left elbow, hands behind to Bays. Now it comes to Williams. He'll give it off to Medulla. Medulla into the paint. Medulla trying to lean into Mitchell. Now flips it back out to Bays. Bays, lob up top for Williams. 8 to shoot. Williams down the lane. Jump stop. Layup. Good. So Williams, who did not score in the first half, has a couple of baskets early in the second, and Randolph-Macon leads it 49-47. Williams averaging 10.7 points, third on the Jackets roster. Kearns, great look for McMillan, cutting down low. McMillan finishes, and now timeout taken by Washington and Lee. So lead changes in the first half, now ties in the second. It was 47-all, now it's 49 apiece with 16:59 to go.
30-second timeout call. We'll go to the
and we'll take a short break. You're listening to Generals Basketball on WLUR and WLUR All Access.
My name is Lola Silvestri, and I'm going to be 95 this year. I was very independent. I fell, and I had to have Meals on Wheels. America, let's do lunch.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org. This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
Tie ball game 49-all with 16:59 to play here in the second half. You're listening live on WLUR Lexington, 91.5 FM. Online tonight on WLUR All Access, powered by First Team Broadcasting. Jeremy Franklin with you here at Crenshaw. Generals had a 5-point lead at the intermission. Randolph-Macon has quickly erased that. In fact, the Jackets were back in front just a moment ago. W&L tying it, and Chris McHugh taking the timeout. Coach McHugh is a player here back in the fall of 2007, a junior and a starting guard for a W&L team that ended a 43-game losing streak overall to the Yellow Jackets. And then a couple of years later, right after Coach McHugh had graduated, W&L came to Randolph-Macon to beat the Yellow Jackets for the first time since 1959, but that is the only win for the Generals against the Jackets on the road since Ike was in the White House. Medulla on the drive. Mark Krogan, the help defender, coming from behind to cleanly block this shot. So the Generals have it, tied up 49 apiece. Kearns in the lane, tries the runner across the body, and Medulla elevates and stuffs it. At the other end, Luke Neely for three, short from the right side, and the Generals corral the rebound. Ahead comes Kearns to McMillan, right side, Trey Lewis. Lewis up top to McMillan. McMillan hits Kearns on the cut, and he'll pull up down low and lay it up and in. Good quick offense for the Generals. Got the Jackets off balance. Anthony at the other end. Crossover to get into the lane. Kicks to Adams. He misses the three, and the rebound secured by Denon. Generals by 2, just over 4 minutes gone by second half. Kearns out of control, lost it on the drive, and here come the Yellow Jackets. Anthony to Neely, spotting up in the corner. Back to Anthony, mid-range jumper in the lane. Good. That'll tie us up at 51. Buzz Anthony with 7 points, along with all those assists tonight. He had 9 at halftime. 9 assists, that is. Devin Kearns around the Mark Krogan screen, pulls up right elbow, jumper, no good, rolls off the rim. And the board grabbed by Montes Adams. Now ahead to Corey Turner in transition, and Turner bodied up, bumped by Lewis, who's called for the foul. That'll be the second on Lewis, first team foul on the Generals this half. Good to see William Bruggeman back out there for W&L as he checks in along with Tevin Panchel and Alex Starr. Lewis and Krogan remain on the floor. So Bruggeman the only starter on the court at the moment. For the Jackets, it's Adams, Williams, Turner, Neely, and the inbounder Anthony. Comes into Darrell Williams, deep right corner. Williams attacking, gets by Krogan, muscles it up, no, but the tap is up and good for Luke Neely. 7 for Neely, making up 53-51, 15:02 to go. Starr deep right corner, gets to the lane, throws up the runner, counted and one. Turner goes down hard, but it looked like he was inside the restricted area, so it's a 3-point play chance for Alex Starr. They're actually going to call the foul on Luke Neely.
Foul's called on Luke Neely.
So Neely and not Turner picking up the foul. Aggressive play there for Alex Starr, his first field goal tonight. He's already made a pair of free throws. He's got one coming that could put the Generals back in front. 15 minutes remaining here. Foul shot up, good, and it's 54-53, Washington and Lee. Brought ahead by Terry Woods, who's coming at the point for Macon. A little breather here for Anthony, who doesn't leave the floor too often. At least not in a tight game. Woods on the right wing, working against Starr. Generals in man-to-man. Now Turner from the left side. Turner back out to Williams, who takes the three, short, over top of Bruggeman, but Montes Adams flies in for an offensive rebound. New 30-second clock for the Jackets here. Neely driving in from the wing, finishes at the rim. Saw an open path to the hoop and exploits it, and he puts Macon up 55-54. The other end, Tevin Panchel hands out up front to Brueggemann. Brueggemann down the lane, tries to feed to the wing, and Lewis, but it's stolen away by Corey Turner. And then Tevin Panchel with the foul in the open floor. William Brueggemann just the 2 points tonight after the 29 he poured in against Mary Washington on Monday. Maybe too unselfish that time. He had a decent look on the driving layup, 1v1. Instead, tried to feed the corner. It ends up turning it over. 14-16 left. Yellow Jackets with possession, up 1. Ball comes into Terry Woods. Woods away to Neely on the right side. He gives it over to Turner. Turner into the paint. Lost the handle, lost control. Jackets catch a break. It bounced right to Woods, and then Adams is open, left corner 3. That's no good, and the rebound to Denon. 3-on-3. Denon ahead to Panchel. He'll slow it down, give it to Starr. Starr, defender slips. Starr down the lane. The floater is way off target. May have been partially blocked, and Macon comes down with the basketball. Still 55-54 Jackets, 13:35 to go. Turner on the perimeter. Inside Adams, posting up on the shorter Starr. Turn around, jump shot good. Matisse Adams with 10. Yellow Jackets up 3. Generals have bought a few minutes without Kearns, McMillan and Mitchell on the floor, but that's about to change. Panchel to the elbow, turnaround jumper halfway down, spit back out. Here come the Yellow Jackets looking for a 2-possession lead. Haven't been a lot of those tonight, even though the Generals were up by 5 at the half. For the most part, it's been a 1, 2, 3, even a tie ball game, 1, 2, or 3 point margin either way. Adams driving baseline, throws it to Tevin Panchel. Off the turnover, Panchel wants to run, doesn't have numbers, going to take it anyway, looking for a foul call that was never going to happen. Rookie mistake that time by Panchel. Yellow Jackets have it at the other end. Neely for 3, that's off. Jackets outside of one shot from Noel, not converting from downtown early in the second half. And the Generals want to get their guys back on the floor. They're going to call a timeout here. It has been a pretty clean game, and because of that, the officials not calling a lot of fouls, not calling the touch fouls when both teams are just playing hard. There have only been a grand total of 12 fouls, and we have played 27 and a half minutes, 12:31 to play in the second half. Randolph-Macon 57 and Washington and Lee 54. Jeremy Franklin with you live at Crenshaw Gym here in Ashland, Virginia. Again, our coverage tonight on WLUR Lexington 91.5 FM and WLUR All Access, powered by First Team Broadcasting. First ODAC game of the season for Washington and Lee, 4-1 on the year. Randolph-Macon ranked 17th in the country, 7-0 on the season, and 1-0 in the ODAC, having beaten the New Boys, knocked off Ferrum here in Ashland 8 days ago. Another tough one on the road for the Generals Saturday. They go to Virginia Wesleyan for a 2 o'clock tip in the first home ODAC contest a week from tonight, 7 o'clock at the DTC against Bridgewater. Kevin Denon, big first half tonight, 17 points, a career high, 5 of 5 from three-point range. Roy McMillan has 14 for the game. Devin Kearns now with 8. Scoring spread out on the Macon side. Medulla has a dozen. Montes Adams unofficially with 10. Luke Neely with 9. After the timeout, Kearns, McMillan, and Mitchell all back in there. In fact, it's the starting lineup for the Generals. Brueggemann and Denon on the floor as well. And Macon will send out a lineup of Noel, Bays, Medulla, Robertson, and Anthony. Generals basketball, they trail by 3. Losing track of the number of ties and lead changes in this game. McMillan top of the key. Guarded by Robertson. Dribbles to the wing, to the corner. Now feeds inside to Kearns, posting up on Anthony. Kearns around Anthony, reverse layup, too strong. Clanged off the side of the rim there. At the other end, Anthony trying to attack on Kearns. Now gives behind to Medulla. Medulla down the lane, floats it out to Robertson, top of the key to Noel. Noel drives, turnaround over, Mitchell rolls in. John Noel with a bucket. It's a 59-54 Randolph-Macon lead. Mitchell away to Brueggemann. Brueggemann down the lane, splits two defenders, layup high off glass but won't drop. As Chris McHugh asks why a foul wasn't called. Anthony at the other end. Gets it inside to Noel. Back out to Anthony. Calls the play at midcourt. Shot clock at 14. Anthony around a Noel screen. Gives it off to Robertson and gets it back. 5 to shoot. Anthony will launch the three over Mitchell. Well short. Nothing much happening for Macon on that possession. Haven't had a lot of empty trips tonight like that. Generals get it down 5. 11:05 to play. Brueggemann up top. McMillan. McMillan on the attack. Sends it left corner. Denon for three. No good. His first miss tonight. It's his first attempt of the second half, but the Yellow Jackets fumble the rebound, and it will stay with Washington and Lee with 10:58 to play. Denon has been closely guarded just about every time he has gotten a touch. And too close this time before the ball comes in. Bays holding on to Denon. That's one way to keep him from getting open. It's the second foul on Bays, third team foul on the Jackets. Kearns baseline inbounds. Gets it to McMillan in the corner. McMillan across to Brueggemann. Brueggemann against Robertson. Brueggemann into the lane, back to Denon. Shot fake, pulls up, foul line jumper, good. The first two-pointer tonight for Kevin Denon. Extends his career high to 19 and pulls the Generals back within 3. Anthony between the circles. Looking toward the Macon bench. Now directs John Noel to set a screen for him. Not very subtly, I might add. Anthony. Hesitation, drives underneath, kicks it back out to Robertson. Robertson to the baseline, away to Medulla. 3 on the shot clock. Medulla the runner over. McMillan is good. What a tough shot for Grayson Medulla. And Macon leads it 61-56. Brueggemann at the other end, gliding down the lane. Finger roll is good for just his second hoop tonight. But back to a one-possession game as we hit the 10-minute mark. 61-58 Macon. Anthony up top. Generals again in their matchup zone, away to Medulla. Back out to Bays. He'll skip it across to Anthony on the left side in front of the Macon bench. Anthony into the paint. Bounce pass to the cutting Bays. Bays takes a bump for Mitchell, but lays it off the glass and in. Generals race down the floor, but McMillan caught up to by Robertson. He will take the 12-footer and miss it from the baseline. Not a good shot that time by Roy. Contested attempt after the transition look was not there. Yellow Jackets up 63-58, 9:21 to go. Here's Medulla working inside, gets down low, just kind of shaking off Mitchell, and his layup gives Randolph-Macon its biggest lead of the night. A 7-point margin with 9:14 to play, and a timeout taken by Washington and Lee. Back in a moment, you're listening to Generals Basketball on WLUR and WLUR All Access.
In 50 feet, turn left. Why are you driving so slowly?
After a few drinks, I'm taking it slow.
Well, you're not fooling the cop behind you.
What?
Get ready to pay in 0.1 miles.
Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Randolph make it up 65-58 with 9:14 remaining here in the second half. It's the largest margin in favor of the Yellow Jackets tonight. The Generals briefly had a 9-point lead late in the first half, but for the most part this game has been played within the margin of error, you might say. Haven't been too many occasions where either team was down by more than 4 or 5 points, if even that much. It has been back and forth, but the latest Randolph-Macon run as the Generals in some trouble here on the road. Grayson Medulla, 16 points to lead the Yellow Jackets. And Kevin Denon up to 19 now after he made that foul line jumper for Washington and Lee. His first 2-point field goal tonight after he canned 5 threes in the opening 20 minutes. Coming out of the timeout for Macon, Corey Turner, Darrell Williams, Monteese Adams, Corey Bays, and Buzz Anthony. For the Generals, Curtis Mitchell Devin Kearns, Roy McMillan, Kevin Dinnan, and William Brueggemann. So Generals basketball. Randolph-Macon picking up some full-court defense. Backing off into a straight-up man-to-man once the ball comes in play. Kearns driving in on Anthony, goes to the low blocks, misses the contested shot, the rebound to Adams. On some nights that's a foul, but there just haven't been a lot of whistles either way tonight. Yellow Jackets with 3 team fouls in the second half, the Generals with 2. It's been consistent. Montes Adams, wing right side. Dribbling back out. And now hand it off to Corey Bays. Bays across to Corey Turner. Turner into the lane. Step back elbow jumper. Muscled that one up and in. That was a line drive jump shot, but it sinks for Turner. And the Yellow Jackets have a 9-point advantage. 8:25 to play. 67-58. Mitchell up top. Handing off to Dinnan. Dinnan, entry feed, almost stolen away. McMillan recovers. Now gets it to Kearns. Kearns on the right side against Bays. Kearns down the lane to the left hand short. A lot of yellow jerseys in the way. Generals have gone cold. They are struggling not just to score, but to get even half-decent shots against the Macon defense, which maybe has turned it up a notch. Williams left wing. Into the lane. Williams around Mitchell. Did he hook him? Yes, he did. Williams calling for the wraparound. Josh Merkel in disbelief. But it's a Randolph-Macon foul and a Yellow Jacket turnover. 7:52 to go. Generals get it. Still down by 9.
Darrell Williams, his first 4th team foul.
Mark Krogan has come back in for the Generals, replacing Mitchell. Jogged across by Kearns. Bounce pass out front to McMillan. That's just the one bucket in this second half. Inside it goes to Kearns. Guarded again by Anthony. Here comes the double. Kearns kicks to Brueggemann, ready to shoot. 3-ball, no good. And the rebound knocked out by Krogan. It'll be Randolph-Macon basketball. Generals have not hit a single three-pointer in the second half. They canned 7 in the first half. Again, 5 of those from Dinnan. Anthony down the lane, pulls up. Stop and pop, no, from close range. And then Anthony with the foul on the rebound. Trying to win the ball back from Krogan. And that'll be the 3rd on Buzz Anthony. 5 team fouls.
Fouls called on number 5, Buzz Anthony, his 3rd.
So still 67-58, 7:13 to play. Kearns across the timeline, picked up there by Anthony. Away to Krogan. Tried the handoff to Brueggemann, and it's stolen away by Corey Turner, and then a Generals foul.
Fouls called on number 33.
Turner jumped the passing lane there and got the steal. Krogan calling for his first foul, just the 3rd on the Generals, but another empty trip for the Washington and Lee offense. W&L still down by 9, a shade over 7 minutes remaining. Alex Starr and Trey Lewis back in. Dinnan and Brueggemann will come out. And the officials put the ball back in play before the Generals had completed the sub. Josh Merkel and Chris McHugh having a laugh about that. I think Coach Merkel had jokingly asked for a technical foul, as the official had quickly said, "My fault." So now back to action here. Turner's got it at the point for Randolph-Macon. Wing right side pass to Montes Adams. Back out to Turner. Turner attacking, pulling up, and kicking out to Anthony. Left corner 3 is up, no good. And the board to McMillan. So the Generals getting some stops here defensively. But they have not made any kind of dent in what is a 9-point Macon lead. Kearns deep left corner. He'll dribble back out to the wing. Kick it up top to Lewis. Right side to Krogan. Back to Devin Kearns. Away to Roy McMillan. McMillan, 7 to shoot. Gets to the foul line, and Williams just steals the ball away. Adams in the open floor, double dribbled. Mark Krogan, good defense, hustled back, got set. Adams didn't want to challenge him. Picked up his bounce and then put it back down. 6:09 to play. We're stuck at 67-58. That'll work just fine for the 17th ranked Yellow Jackets. They've got the 67. Kearns fires to Lewis underneath. Adams between him and the rim. Lewis will push it back out to Krogan. Away to McMillan. McMillan on the attack. Gives to Starr. Left side Lewis. 10 to shoot. Lewis off the dribble. Starts in again around Adams. And muscles it up toward the rim, and it rolls off the top of the backboard and out of play. And that's another situation where on a different night a foul is called, but not tonight when the whistles aren't blowing either way. 5:45 to go in a 9-point game. Curtis Mitchell back in for the Generals. We've seen a grand total of 1 free throw attempted in the second half. That was Alex Starr completing a 3-point play. Matchup zone for the Generals extended across the half court, and an alley-oop pass. Anthony 35 feet away to Medulla, who lays it off glass and good. An 11-point lead for Randolph-Macon. Anthony just threw that ball over the top of the General zone. Mitchell foul line extended right side, bumped on the wing by Turner. That's his second, and that was the last foul to give for Randolph-Macon. Team foul number 6 with 5:20 remaining. 69-58 Yellow Jackets. Starr into Kearns. Kearns attacking, leaning in, shot blocked by Adams. Kearns thought he was fouled, no call. That looked like more of a foul than some of the other situations where there was contact that the officials let go. Looked like Adams might have got him on the arm that time. Turner, left wing for Macon, into the corner to Medulla. Medulla driving into the lane, spins around McMillan but misses the layup. McMillan grabs the rebound but has his pocket picked by Turner, and Randolph-Macon keeps it on the offensive end. Bayes lost it, gets it back, hands it to Anthony. 11-point margin, 4:38 to go. Generals have gone a long time without a basket. Anthony to the elbow, kick to Adams, left side, 3, good. Montes Adams for 3, a 14-point Randolph-Macon lead. McMillan left side to Lewis. Up top for Starr. Starr down the lane, the floater up, too strong, and the rebound just snatched down by Adams. 72-58 Randolph-Macon. The Yellow Jackets have clamped down on defense. Even the quote-unquote good shots the Generals are getting, A, they're not great, they're tough, they're contested, and B, they're certainly not falling. And now Macon maybe will shorten the game a bit. Shot clock at 9, 8, 7. Now Anthony starts forward. Anthony pull up right elbow jumper, no good. Rebound to McMillan. Can the Generals get some points on the scoreboard here? McMillan right wing, step back 3, no. And another rebound for Montes Adams. 3.5 to play, 72-58 Yellow Jackets. And a foul out front. Kearns with a bump on Anthony. That'll be only his first personal and just the 4th team foul. May not be bad for the Generals to pick up a couple common fouls here. Right now they're so far behind you won't necessarily think about extending the game, but you can make a dent in the lead. You want to be close to putting the other team in the bonus in case you need to foul late on. 3:26 to go, 14-point margin. And it comes to Anthony. And again, he'll step back out and run a little bit of clock. Bounce pass ahead to Medulla. Medulla down the lane. The spin. McMillan and Mitchell both there. Hands off to Anthony. Back out he comes. Gives to Medulla. 7 to shoot. Left side. Bayes for 3. In and out. And McMillan has to have a double-double by now. Another rebound for Roy. McMillan, top of the key. It's Kearns, and Kearns gets it back to him on the cut, and McMillan lays it up and in. That is the first hoop for Washington and Lee in what seems like a lifetime. And a timeout taken by the Generals as well. 2:56 to go. It's Randolph-Macon 72 and Washington and Lee 60. Right back to Ashland. You're listening to Generals basketball on WLUR and WLUR All Access.
Hi everyone, I'm Kristen Bell, and I invited you here to my hotel room to talk about your cheeks, your big, beautiful cheeks. Get your mind out of the gutter. I'm talking about swabbing them. Did you guys know that each year 20,000 Americans with blood cancer are searching for their life-saving marrow match? So here's how we can help. It's really, really simple. All you have to do is swab your cheek. This cheek. Then go to giftoflife.org and request a free kit so that you can swab a cheek and save a life.
12-point ball game just inside of 3 minutes to go. That bucket for Roy McMillan breaking a scoring drought of over 7 minutes for Washington and Lee. William Brueggemann hit his shot with 10:05 to play. That made it 61-58 Macon. And we're down to 2:56 before the Generals score again. Fortunately, Washington and Lee has played well enough defensively that they're still within striking distance, although double-digit margin on the road against an undefeated Randolph-Macon team. Going to be tough sledding. See what they come up with out of the timeout. The Generals will pick up some full-court pressure here. Turnovers have not been a huge part of the game. Even during the scoring drought, it was more missed shots. A couple of giveaways during that span. Macon thought Monteese Adams was going to have a chance for a slam there. Anthony lobbing it up on a press break, but Roy McMillan, the last defender back, elevating and knocking that ball out of bounds. So now in the half-court set, Macon will have it. Mitchell, Kearns, McMillan, Dinnan, and Brueggemann defending Bays, Medulla, Turner, Adams, and Anthony. Buzz Anthony back to midcourt. Sophomore from Arnold, Maryland, and the Archbishop Spalding program. Inside Adams, back to the basket. Dribbling away from the hoop, gives it to Anthony. 7 to shoot. Anthony, the kick out to Turner, right side 3, no good. Adams a tap on the rebound, though. It comes to Medulla. 30 seconds back on the shot clock, and Anthony goes right back to midcourt to waste some time. And he'll be fouled there by Roy McMillan, who was going for a steal. Generals under the limit. That's team foul number 5. First personal on McMillan. 2:21 to play. Jackets up 72-60. Ball into Corey Turner. Back out to midcourt and into the hands of Anthony once again. Anthony against Kearns. 10 to shoot. Anthony down the lane. Stops, hands off in traffic to Adams. Extra pass to the cutter. That's Corey Bays. And his layup pushes the lead right back to 14. Long possession thanks to the offensive board. That great tap by Adams. And the Jackets up 74-60, under 2 to go. McMillan, corner 3 is good. Off the feed from Kearns. It's the first tray of the second half for Washington and Lee. And a steal by the Generals off the press. McMillan has his shot blocked, but Curtis Mitchell right there for the follow. 74-65, margin down to single digits. Anthony around McMillan at the other end. Gets it to Bays. Back out it comes. 90 seconds to play. 74-65. Turner the drive. The scoop layup good for Corey Turner. And the lead is 11. Ahead comes Kearns. Stomps on the left wing against Anthony. Generals don't necessarily need a 3. They need something quick. McMillan rejected by Adams after Kearns had zipped the ball inside. Monteese Adams, 6'5", using that wingspan to deny McMillan down low. Kearns will inbound, a $1:11 to play. Lobs it into McMillan. Well away from the hoop against Adams. He'll pull up for a deep 3. That's off target. And the rebound secured by Adams. Will the Generals foul? They will. Brueggemann against Turner with 1:01 to play. That's the 6th team foul, so one more necessary to put Macon at the line. Krogan and Lewis back in with the scarcity of fouls called tonight. No one on the Generals roster is in any kind of trouble. Nobody's got more than 2. In fact, the only player remotely in trouble tonight is Buzz Anthony with 3. 3 fouls with 1:01 to play in regulation. Typically not considered foul trouble. 1:01 to go. Got a timeout called by Macon here. The Yellow Jackets lead at 76-65. 7 minutes scoring drought for Washington and Lee in this second half allowed the Yellow Jackets to open up a double-digit lead in a game that had been back and forth up to that point. The Generals went from the 10:05 mark down to 2:56 without a single indentation on the scoreboard. And And as a result, they are looking at a 39th loss in 40 road games against Randolph-Macon. One here in 2010. That's the only victory at Crenshaw for the Generals since 1959. Teams split their meetings last year. Each side won at home. The Generals also knocked the Jackets out of the ODAC tournament in Salem in the quarterfinals 2 seasons ago. 61 seconds left. Randolph making up 11. Inbounds play for Bays with Mitchell guarding him, going end to end here, and the ball comes into Turner, and the quick foul from Brueggemann. And that will put the Yellow Jackets in the bonus.
Fouls called on number 4, William Brueggemann. His second.
This will be the third free throw of the night for Randolph-Macon. The Generals have only shot 5. Grayson Medulla split a pair in the first half, and now a 1-and-1 for Turner. 59.9 to go. Corey Turner, a 57% foul shooter on the season. He's got 6 points tonight. Season average is 6.7. Foul shot is no good, and Mitchell with the rebound. Generals have it down 11. Brueggemann gets to the rim. Layup is good and one. A late whistle and a foul on top of that. So a 3-point play chance for William Brueggemann. Just 6 tonight, including that last basket, after he poured in a career-high 29 against Mary Washington on Monday.
Fouls called on Monteith Adams, his second, 7th team foul.
So a bucket for Brueggemann, and his free throw can cut the lead to 8 with 52.8 seconds remaining. Brueggemann's foul shot good. He has not missed a free throw all season. And it's 76-68. Brueggemann now 15 of 15 at the line. Ball comes into Anthony, double teamed, but quickly gets it away to Medulla. Ahead of the pack is Adams, and his layup will push the lead back to 10. You need to have to shoot free throws when you got an open look. 78-68. Kearns drive and dish. Denon a right side 3. Good. With 39 seconds to go. It's a 7-point game, and Chris McHugh gets the timeout. First 3 of the second half for Denon after he knocked down 5 in the first 20 minutes. He's got a career best 22 points tonight. And this one not quite salted away for Randolph-Macon. 78-71, 39 seconds to go. And the Yellow Jackets for 2 more Washington and Lee fouls, still in the 1-and-1. Just missed the front end of a 1-and-1 chance. That was Corey Turner. And Randolph-Macon as a team this season, solid, not great, 71% at the free throw line. And they've got a couple of subpar foul shooters on the floor. Grayson Medulla, just 50% on the season if he's going to be out there. Yellow Jackets, if they can, will get the ball and keep the ball in the hands of Buzz Anthony. Not only their floor leader, but a 79% foul shooter. Mitchell, Kearns, McMillan, Denon, and Brueggemann against Williams, who's one of the better foul shooters. Bays, Turner, Anthony, and Adams. Yellow Jackets going the length of the floor. They can run the inbounds if Bays needs to on the inbounds play. Can run the baseline. And a quick foul given by Washington and Lee as the ball comes in. Curtis Mitchell called for the personal. Let's see who was fouled.
Fouls called on number 4.
It is Anthony.
Mitchell, his second.
So a 1-and-1 for Buzz Anthony, 79.2%. At the line this season, he's got 7 points tonight.
Correction. After further review, the foul is on Devin Kearns.
And now they've changed the foul. Instead of the second on Mitchell, it's going to be the second on Kearns. Game clock ran a little too long after the whistle, so they've added a few tenths of a second back to it. And we're at 39.0. 78-71, a 1-and-1 for Buzz Anthony. Free throw is up and good. Got the roll. So that'll draw the bonus shot. A chance to push the Yellow Jackets lead back to 9. And he gets both of them to go. Big free throws there for Anthony. It's 80-71. Williams out and Medulla back in. So Medulla was not on the floor as a potential foul shooter. Here comes Kearns off the left sideline. Kearns on the drive, take a bump from Turner, and he's got free throws coming. They'll say in the act of shooting, so it'll be 2 shots instead of a 1-and-1. And that is not what Randolph-Macon wanted to do. Do not want to give the Generals a chance to score with the clock stop, but that's exactly what will happen here. 33.4 to go. Kearns to the line. He's a 79% free throw shooter. First one good. 9th point for Devin Kearns. He's been in double figures in every game this season. A chance to get to 10. Here he does, and he makes it a 7-point game. 80-73. Dangerous pass to midcourt. Medulla just did get it away from McMillan. Now Anthony scrambling around, and the Generals can't be picky as to whom they foul. They've got to put Anthony back at the line with 28.1 seconds to go. A couple of seconds to play for the steal. McMillan came awfully close at midcourt. Good athletic play by Medulla to keep the ball with Macon, and now Anthony with another 1-and-1, and the front end is good. 81-73. Double digits on the point column for Anthony, who had 9 assists by halftime, so certainly he's got a double-double. And his second free throw good as well. Back to a 9-point game. Into Kearns. Williams guarding him up the floor. Kearns ahead to McMillan. McMillan pops the right wing 3. Good with 20.5 seconds to go. It's a 2-possession game. Ball comes into Anthony. And a foul right along the sideline. Generals thought he might have gone out of bounds, but the contact certainly came first. So that's double bonus now for Macon, although it hasn't seemed to matter to Anthony, as he has hit the front end and the back end of 2 straight 1-and-1 chances. So 2 free throws for Anthony. 82-76 Macon, 18.3 seconds left. First one here, good.
Buzz Anthony at the line, shooting a pair.
12 points now for Anthony. Make it 13. 6 for 6 in the final minute for Anthony. 84-76. Generals trying to throw the touchdown pass to Mitchell. Almost turned it over. Adams flying in there to knock it out of bounds with 14.8 to go. Almost have to think 3 now with the 8-point margin. And late substitution here for the Yellow Jackets. Nope, they're not going to allow it. Turner did not get to the scores table in time. So Kearns inbounding from underneath. Out top for Mitchell. Mitchell off the dribble, 3-pointer up, grazing the iron, and the rebound to Williams, and that should just about do it. Generals had the lead at halftime. Back and forth through the first 30 minutes, but a long scoring drought. Some great half-court defense from Randolph-Macon, and in the end, the deficit too much for Washington and Lee to overcome. The long drought here in Ashland continues for the Generals as the 17th-ranked Yellow Jackets remain undefeated on the young season. 8-0 now. Final score at Crenshaw tonight, Randolph-Macon 84 and Washington and Lee 76. You're listening to Generals basketball on WLUR and WLUR All Access. We'll come back with post-game thoughts and a look at some stats after this timeout.
Hi, I found a toy dinosaur over on the playground by Smith Street. It had this phone number on it, and, well, I just wanted to make sure the dinosaur made it back to its little owner.
When I found the little sippy cup, I just had to give you a call. It's for a kid, you know?
I know my son gets super attached to the smallest things, even a fire truck, and I'd be happy to drop it off. We'd do anything for kids, yet 1 in 6 children in the U.S. struggle with hunger. Help end childhood hunger near you. Learn how at feedingamerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
This message is for all of you sitting in the passenger seat. And apologies if it gets a little uncomfortable, but how does it feel to be at the mercy of someone who thinks a random text is more important than your life? Someone who takes their eyes off the road while speeding along in a 3-ton hunk of steel. Freaky, right? Well, why not just ask them to stop? Or better yet, volunteer to text for them. It might be a little awkward, but believe me, you'll live.
Learn more at stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
You're not wired to have a response to this sound. You're neutral to it. And you can hear it repeatedly without feeling anything. But when we introduce a new stimulus, save the food, we've achieved pulling a natural or inborn response from you. Save the food. Because 40% of all food in the US never gets eaten. Save the food. Cook it, store it, share it. Just don't waste it. For tips and recipes, visit savethefood.com. Brought to you by NRDC and the Ad Council.
You wanted to be a teacher when you were little, but as you grew up, things changed. Teaching just didn't seem like the best option anymore, so you decided to become something else. But what would your 12-year-old self say? Interesting and innovative things are happening in teaching today, so it's time to put it back on your list. Don't try to convince yourself otherwise. You had it right the first time.
Find out how you can make more at teach.org. Make more. Teach. Brought to you by Teach and the Ad Council.
Our final score here in Ashland tonight, Randolph-Macon 84, Washington and Lee 76. By the way, the two regular season games last year, Randolph-Macon won here 84-75, and then the Generals won in Lexington by the same score that we saw tonight, 84-76. How about that? Generals fall to 4-2 on the season, 0-1 in the ODAC. Randolph-Macon 8-0 overall and 2-0 in the conference. Generals had the lead for long stretches of the first half. They were up by as many as 9. They led by 5 at the break. Went back and forth in the first 10 minutes of the second half, and then the Yellow Jackets seemed to find an extra bit of intensity on the defensive end. They held the Generals off the scoreboard for more than 7 minutes, and during that time opening up a double-digit lead. Generals played well enough defensively that Randolph-Macon couldn't quite put them away until the very end when the shots started falling again for the Generals, but then Buzz Anthony goes to the line 6 of 6 in the final minute, and Randolph-Macon sees it out to win for the 39th time in the last 40 meetings against WNL here in Ashland. Tonight's broadcast is brought to you in part by the Washington and Lee University Store. Celebrate your favorite Generals team with a sports tee, decal, or hat. If you can think of it, we probably have it. The store is open 7 days a week. It is owned and operated by Washington and Lee. All proceeds go back to the WNL community, helping to fund athletic, alumni, and student programs. Order online anytime at store.wlu.edu, and be sure to follow us on Facebook and Twitter for exclusive online promotions. Go Generals. We'll look at some numbers from tonight's game. Randolph-Macon ends up shooting 53% from the field. They were 18 of 32 in the second half, and I don't think the Generals played poorly on the defensive end. Just good creation, good shot selection by the Yellow Jackets. Washington and Lee 43% from the field, but 52% in the first half, 35% in the second half. For the game, free throw shooting 7 of 9 for Macon, the 6 big makes for Buzz Anthony down the stretch. The Generals a perfect 8 for 8, plus 1 on the glass for Macon, 34-33. Turnover count 10 for the Generals, 8 for the Yellow Jackets. On the Macon side, Grayson Medulla leading the Yellow Jackets with 18 points. Montes Adams, 15 points and 13 rebounds. Buzz Anthony, 13 points and 13 assists. Corey Bays had 10 points. Luke Neely, 9. And then 6 off the bench for Corey Turner. Career high 22 for Kevin Denon tonight. He was 6 of 7 from 3. Most of his damage done in the first half. Roy McMillan had 22 points, and he did indeed have a double-double. 13 rebounds for McMillan, which is a season high and just 2 off his career high mark. And then looking down the line, 10 points and 8 assists against just 2 turnovers for Devin Kearns. William Brueggemann, 7 points, relatively quiet after what he did to Mary Washington 2 days ago. 6 points for Trey Lewis, 5 for Alex Starr, and then 2 points and 3 rebounds, a couple of blocks for Curtis Mitchell. So a tough loss for the Generals against a high-quality Randolph-Macon team, and another difficult road game on the horizon for Washington and Lee. The Generals go to Virginia Wesleyan on Saturday afternoon. Been a long time since Washington and Lee won against the Marlins down in Virginia Beach. First home ODAC contest for WNL 1 week from tonight when the Generals play host to Bridgewater, 7 o'clock at the Duchess Watt Tennis Center. You can watch that game online at generalsports.com. You can also check out our video broadcast on Saturday afternoon as the Washington and Lee women play host to a ranked opponent, number 15, Emory and Henry. That's a 2 o'clock tip. Live coverage begins at 1:55. For now, we'll say so long from Crenshaw Gym at Ashland. Our thanks to Andy McEnroe and our first-team broadcasting crew, along with Anthony Wong back in the WLUR studio. I'm Jeremy Franklin. Thanks for tuning in to this presentation of Generals basketball on WLUR and WLUR All Access. Our final score tonight, Randolph-Macon 84 and Washington-Lee 76.